there, this will be my dissertation presentation. Name's Levi Jenkins, student number is 17080541. For this, we've had to choose an independent study and write 5,000 words. I decided that I was going to go into the field of teaching. I want to be a teacher after this degree, so I had great interest in this. Obviously, studying a course in music, I wanted to see how music applied within teaching. I have more interest in the child development of teaching, so I want to look at primary schools. This had me excited, and anything I learned can be used after the course when going forward, applying for PGCs and other courses to become a primary school teacher. So for choosing the study, I decided instantly that was where the route I was going to go down. However, I also knew that I didn't just want to do a basic study of a music taught classroom. I also wanted to look at the relation of the music to the child's development, as I have quite a passion in psychology. And I have many friends who study psychology in university and deal with children, and knew there was an interest that lied there for me as well. So we were trying to combine what study I would go into that could relate teaching, its abilities to improve studies, child development, and the related reactions you would get from this. I started all my research, and then that came together in creating my study and the aims of what I was wanting to find out within my study, which was I wanted to see if musical involvement in a child's education could actually improve their grade, and if there was conclusive proof and studies already carried out that could show that there was an improvement in the child development, whether it be they had taken a math test, some had listened to music beforehand, some had not, and that created a stimulation in workflow and a greater brainwave creativity, and they managed to come out with a better grade. I also wanted to look at if they were showing a development in other skills such as learning ability, memory, language capability, and thus so forth. By putting all this together, it kind of formed the title of my essay and came with me what I wanted to know, which was, as you see, the importance and influence music has on the physical and emotional development of children within the education system. So once I had my title and I had where I was going and how I wanted to create it, it was then going to the methodology of how I find all this information out. I started with basic research. I looked up previous studies through books and find it on the portal usage, as well as general Google links in order to look for child development cases. I also researched music's ability to improve the achievement on a child's grade. There was a lot of studies within this. So first of all, we had a lot more showing on the development of a child rather than the grade development as being a specific. So I decided I would do them as separate points within this. The child's development skills would be things such as verbal and communicational, memory, social, integrating. And then the academical was improvements in grades such as science, maths, English, and so forth. But when coming on to these, it had me think about other factors which I didn't originally think about, such as children with learning and physical disabilities. There was quite a few research topics into this, so I decided to go off on this tangent and incorporate that into the whole round conclusion of my study, and not just look at those with full capabilities but those with disadvantages, whether music was a necessity for them as much or more so, and in what ways would it help them. For example, those with autism have a slower learning ability, so I can't expect a massive grade increase overnight. However, through things such as musical therapy and music involvement in class, they are able to process information in a different manner and memorize certain information given to them in a different option, and this can sometimes stimulate a different sense of knowledge and production and allow a greater ability to develop their already current skills in such as verbal and emotional integration with others, as well as personal development and remembrance on how to develop their already once known skills. I went on from studying these and wanted to think further. I had looked now at the children's, how they developed. Were their grades increasing? Yes. How was it helping children? I then went to take it back to looking actually at the emotional and the mental side of it. When looking at this, there came a lot of studies relating to mental stimulation and talking about how music can be used also for study purposes. So I then went to talk on about studying and talk about the Mozart effect that was known from children in birth and was quite conclusive to be fairly useful but not necessarily concrete in evidence. But putting all the solutions together, I was able to create this study that looked at the development of children mentally, the reactions on how music actually stimulates the brain, looking at brainwaves and neuroscience research on what part of the brain it gets to cooperate and interact with, and how this developed therefore in skills and grades and overall child development. The results were very much conclusive and concrete in the fact that they all agreed music had a massive part. We had certain experiments that varied across the board, whether they played pop music, jazz music, whether it was just the study of music, whether it was the study of an instrument, whether they were disabled, whether they were fully capable and not disabled in any sort of function. Music still gave the ability to an increase of grades and skill development. Memory, verbal, social, emotional, all conclusively much benefited from music, and the grade side was a massive increase. There was plenty of studies that showed a difference between people without music involvement and those with music involvement, and almost a full grade average or more difference. And it was shown that conclusively over time, the longer you studied an instrument alongside the studies, the bigger the result was. So to conclude, my information is concrete. I have found out that music is very key to a child's development for social, skillful, educational, emotional. It helps them adapt from school life to social life to home life and get involved within the world in a more sustainable way and get more fulfillment out of life. Therefore, it is a necessity, I believe, in school for children to learn music and keep it as a strong involvement. And going forth is really important to me, as I want to be a music teacher, and seeing just the way music helps the children and how it can help, what sort of things it can help with. Seeing how memory development may be helping them learn ways to create music and songs in such a way that it could help them with other studies within the school, as well as just generally learning an instrument can create activity and flow and activate the brain in such a way that you use the full brain, not just half the side of your brain, and the stimulation of the full brain power can then increase mind capacity within all subjects. I would have liked to gone to an actual school and held a small experiment trying to teach a class a topic without music and trying to teach a class with music, and done my own conclusive result to back up what I have found out here. However, due to COVID-19, this has not been doable and it has to be fully just research based, but I would say that my evidence is concrete. The study was a success. This is a very important subject, and music most definitely is important in the grade and skill development of a child and necessity, and I'm very happy with this study and what I found out.